Alrighty, so originally I was going to do the review of this CONCACAF Champions Cup Final last night after I came back from home because I did went out last night, though I was still able to watch the full match of this game while I was out, but because I went home relatively late and I was really tired as well, I decided that why not just do this review tomorrow alongside with the regular program schedule of me doing the review for the first part of match week number 17 in MLS. So, with that being said, let us actually first do the review of the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. And wow, what happened, Columbus? I mean, after all the praise that I gave to the Columbus crew in terms of this incredible run that they ever had, it ends in free space disappointment. And for those of you that don't know what free space disappointment is, it's kind of a phrase that we mention every time when MLS team either have a very disappointing result from the CONCACAF Champions League or the CONCACAF Champions Cup as it knowns, and also it's a phrase to describe all these teams that make incredible deep run and even made it all the way to the final only to fail in the final hurdle. I mean, we saw what happened with Toronto a couple of years ago. We saw LAFC did it twice in the COVID year in 2020 and then just last year. And yeah, Columbus Crew basically joined that free space disappointment of a match where they just simply did not show up in this game against Pachuca. Now, in the first half, 1 minute into this game, Rossi with the game's first shot, but he was denied by Moreno. And believe it or not, it was actually a lively start for the crew. I mean, from the get go, it looked like they were up for it. Little do we know that would be the only time the crew really kind of showed some fight until it was way too late, because this is when Pachuca basically dominate. They start dominating this game, and it started with Schulte denying Sanchez as the flag went up, and then he had to deny Sanchez from long range in the 8th minute as Pachuca was starting to get into this game and creating some good half chances. And in the 11th minute, then we get the game's first goal of the game. It's Sonneman Rondon. He scored from Diosa to give Pachuca a 1-0 lead. It was just a defensive breakdown from the crew in that point. I mean, you just simply cannot let Salomon Rondon run right behind you. We know how dangerous Salomon Rondon is for Pachuca, and I'm pretty sure Union fans would know how dangerous he was, considering he absolutely destroyed that team along with Idrisi in that second leg back in the round of 16. But yeah, I mean, just a complete defensive breakdown there from the crew at the back. Won't be the only time I'll talk about throughout this game, because that defense for the crew, along with pretty much the midfield attack, was pretty much a no-show in this game whatsoever. So yeah, Pachuca were up 1-0, but you're thinking, well, Columbus have found themselves in this spot before. They found themselves down 1-0 very early. We saw it against T-Rez, and we kind of saw it against Monterrey as well. Surely they will pick themselves up, right? Well, no, not exactly, because just 3 minutes later, Idrisi would put the ball into the back of net. It was 2-0 in favor of Pachuca. And then it wasn't, because VAR came to the rescue for the crew in this one. It's hard to believe, but this game could have been a more uglier for the crew if it wasn't for VAR bailing them out, because here it was disallowed the goal that Idrisi scored because it was a foul on the development play. I think it was Rondon, the one that commits the foul here. Obviously, Rondon is known a player that has a lot of string and can be a very physical player, and I think in that play it was a little bit too physical. And yeah, again, the crew really got bailed out by VAR, and I even wrote it. Oh, they get left off the hook twice now, because twice it's some defensive breakdown in that play that almost gave Pachuca a 2-0 lead. Cucho then missed wide from long range in the 20th minute. By the way, Cucho back in the starting 11 after he had to be out for the past couple of games because of injuries, and you can clearly tell he was not 100% healthy. And I can understand that he really were looking forward to play in this game, but when you're basically back and you're not 100% healthy, and not to mention you're playing at altitude, yeah, it's no surprise that he kind of had a rough game. I mean, again, the entire crew team had a rough game in this one. Sanchez would then puts it high from close. The crew defense has been leaky at best, and I just kind of putting it lightly, because again, it was a no-show whatsoever for the crew up to that point on the defensive front. And Pachuca started to dictate plays, and that is bad news for the crew, because now, not only the fact that you're down 1-0 and you're facing shadow, but now you're allow the opposition to dictate the game. And I've seen so many times when MLS team go down to Mexico, and they are just getting absolutely dominated in terms of possession, and are just like have to chase for the ball, and especially playing in altitude like this. This was bad news for the Columbus Crew. This is when you can start to see that Pachuca was really starting to wear down this Crew team, as if they haven't been wear down already in this game. Cucho then missed just wide from close range, and that would be a big miss for Cucho and Columbus, because just 1 minute later, Pachuca made it 2-0. It's Rodriguez scoring from Sanchez to make it 2-0 in favor of Pachuca, and the Crew just got completely caught on the transition there. I mean, just a quick lightning counterattack there from Pachuca, and next one you know, they're 2-0 up in this game. Rossi looked to respond, but he hits it right to Moreno. Idrisi would hit one wide from long range before Sanchez would miss wide from close. And then the fifth minute stoppage time, it looked like Mo Farsi got himself sent off, but then they go to VAR to see whether or not if there was a foul that happened before there was a potential dog so on Farsi. VAR says yes, and I mean, wrote that's now twice that the crew basically got bailed out by VAR, and I think if it wasn't for a foul before Farsi commits that dog so, yeah, that's definitely a dog so. But again, it doesn't matter what happened in that play. If there is a foul before that, everything after that pretty much neglect itself. And again, the Crew just twice now getting left off the hook, and despite just getting absolutely outplayed in the first half, there's could have been a more ugly. Like the Crew could be 3-0 down in this game, and not to mention have a man down for the remaining of the second half. And when that happens, I might as well just say this game is over. Like the Crew might as well just wave the white flag and think about the league play for the rest of the game, because yeah, there's as much as I know Columbus has shown a lot of resilience throughout this competition, there is no way in hell you are going to come back from a 3-0 deficit and you're down to 10 men against Pachuca in the second half. But we do head to the second half with Pachuca leading 2-0, and this is where I'm hoping, well, as bad as the Crew has been outplayed, we've seen before where they might show some fight and maybe they can just get like one back in the second half. Things could make it interesting. Nope. Instead, in the 47 minutes, Schulte would rob Rondon on the doorstep of go, as Pachuca pretty much start the second half where they left off. They absolutely suffocated this Crew team and just kind of dictate this game. Schulte then robbed Sanchez from close in the 56th minute. Patrick Schulte was the only Crew player that really showed up in this game. I mean, he was really the only reason this game was 2-0. This could have been 3 or 4-0 by now, as the Crew backline just, again, completely AWOL tonight. Rossi was then in on goal there, but he missed wide as the flag went up, so that wouldn't have counted even if Rossi puts it in. And then Rodriguez missed wide despite being wide open in the back post. And I even wrote this feel like more that Pachuca was gonna get that 3-0 lead rather than the Crew will get one back, because Pachuca was creating so many dangerous chances that just kind of had a sense that eventually that third goal was gonna come. And also, not to mention, it was a party scene inside Estadio Delgo. Like the fans were making some noise there as the game goes so long. And then the 68th minute, they have even more chance to celebrate. And I also just realized that I spelled Solomon Rondon name wrong, so let me add the N here. Yeah, so he scored here to make it 3-0. So yeah, up to this point, this is when I well, this is done. This is done. It's over. There's no way the Crew is going to come back. And keep in mind, this game was also taking place while there was other games that was happening in MLS play. So I kind of started to not really pay too much attention to this game and started paying attention to some of the MLS game that was still going on right now. Because yeah, again, this is done. Like there's no way the Crew can come back from a free old Devison, and you can even see it with the team body language. They just look absolutely checked out up to that point. So that being said, as we wind down the game, they actually almost got one back as Russell Rose struck the post from long range. The Crew finally woke up, but really it was too late up to this point. And then Morris blasted high, which just again sums up the night for the Crew. As in the end, free spaces is definitely a disappointment for MLS team in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. I mean, besides what happened in 2022 with the Sounders conquering the mountain, it's been pretty much nonstop free spaces disappointment for MLS team in this competition, as the Columbus Crew, after just a great run that they had. And I will say that, take nothing away in terms of this incredible run that they gone and take nothing away of the fact that they did something that we have never seen an MLS team do before, slaying some of the giants of Liga MX with the likes of Tigres and Monterrey. But at the end of the day, like I said, free space is definitely a disappointment, and it just feels like no matter how big of an achievement the MLS team has when they go through this tournament, it's always going to end in a bit of a whimper, and it ends in a whimper in this game as the crew lose 3-0 in this one against Pachuca, and the stats pretty much backs it up. 21 shots compared to just 11 that Columbus had. 8 shots on goal compared to 3 that Columbus had. 9 shots off target compared to 5 that Pachuca has. 2 shots on blocked compared to 3 that Columbus had, and possession-wise, 54% possession compared to 46% possession that Pachuca has in this game. And I also want to note that I have definitely heard some excuses that some people have made the fact that, well, this game was played in altitude. I think if this game was not playing in altitude, maybe it's different. I don't think so. Really don't. And well, yes, I get that playing in altitude is definitely tough, and I know the crew did a lot to prepare for that. But honestly, it doesn't really matter how much you prepare for the game when it's actually in altitude and you're actually on the pitch and training and preparing for it. It's almost impossible to try to prepare for that, especially what the crew had to find themselves in. But I also said that altitude should not be the issue. The fact that the crew just they just completely didn't show up for the entire game. Like if they were maybe running out of gas as the games goes on, or as we're heading late into this game, then that makes sense. But altitude should not be an excuse if a team just clearly didn't show up for the um, first 60 minutes of this game whatsoever. And that I also have heard the excuse of the fact that, well, this is another example of why MLS should boost the salary cap, or maybe even get rid of the salary cap and increase the spending whatsoever. Pachuca is a team that is not known for spending in Liga MX. In fact, they're one of the lowest spending team in Liga MX, and they're a team that is kind of very similar to what we see with FC Dallas, New York Red Bulls, and even the Philadelphia Union recently. What they have done to be very successful in MLS, which is they heavily rely on the academy. There's a lot of good academy players that come from the Pachuca system. Some even say that they probably have the best academy in Liga MX and in Mexican soccer right now, and that's kind of the reason why they have won so many of these championships with a lot of these young players. So yeah, that can't be it too. And they even put up a stats that the crew actually are value and spend more than what Pachuca has done. So you can't use that as an excuse either. This is really just the bottom line is, after hearing all these excuses I have, Pachuca was just a better team in this one. Like the bottom line is the Pachuca was the better team, and Columbus just clearly didn't show up for this final, and that's just kind of the unfortunate truth. It's nothing to do with salary cap. It has nothing to do with the altitude to excuse, and that, yeah, like I said, congratulations to Pachuca in terms of just thoroughly outplay the crew in this game, and something that we rarely see a Wilfried Nancy team does. And now we'll see how this crew team will recover, because as much as I've said before how coming into this game, no matter what happened, I think the crew will be okay, and I think they still could be okay once they get back into league play. But we've seen before where when teams go through long CONCACAF Champions Cup run, and even teams that won it, like the Seattle Sounder did, you see how much that can take a toll off the team for the rest of the season, and you just hope that's not the case for the crew, and especially with the way that the crew were actually doing pretty well heading into this game. You're just gonna hope that assume that they just don't fall off a cliff like what we've seen before with teams that either go for long run but suffer heartbreaking end, and that's kind of what we're gonna find out with how the crew is gonna be playing for these next couple of games, whether they can bounce back straight away. I mean, the good news is I think they got a couple of weeks before their next game, but yeah, this one is definitely gonna sting for a Columbus Crew fan, especially of the incredible run that they've been in, and it's kind of almost going to be forgotten because of this pretty much no show in this game against Pachuca. But there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of me reviewing this CONCACAF Champions Cup final. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this game. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please guys like, smash the subscribe button. And yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.